Hello, so in this video I will go over how to create a Qt user interface for OSL shaders, and to create something like my tri-planar map here with a custom UI, or the PBR material here, just two examples. So I'll just start from scratch and we'll take it from there. So first thing we need to do is create a small shader. We'll start out with the checker map here. Unlock this fella here. I'm just going to go like this. Delete this. Make this a little bit larger. Shader. Call this test. And create a header, a body. Move this down here, something like this. We obviously need some inputs, so we call this A. This is a float, and we need an output. That's it. We're going to call A to the output. And that should basically create a shader with a float value of 0.5. Should return gray, just so everything is set up and online. Let's see here, something like this. Turn to realistic mode. Good. This is gray. If I go to 0 and 1, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. So let's say we want to convert this area here to a Qt interface. So the way we do that is we will move this one over here. And I already have a Qt designer here, so you need to go and download Qt designer. And you can see here this is my tri-planar map, and we have something called signals here. This is basically condition based. If we push one button, it's suppose I tell the UI to do something here. As you can see here, it hides some features when I do like this. So that's practical. Let's move back to the actual interface here. So the general idea is that we now have this shader here. Let's see here. It's here. I need to move this one down here. Pop back in. Something like this. So the shader name test here is critical. Your UI file needs to be called exactly the same thing. I'm going to save this. Let's see here. So this is the window. And I'm going to pop it into my my own little folder here. It's in program files, Autodesk. No, that's not true. That's in it's in let's see here. This is actually the folder, application plugins, Rebel Pack, OSL, Rebel Pack. I'm just going to go there, and we are already there. And this is my OSL file. I'm going to overwrite this shader. Pressing yes. So right now this shader always pops up in my main category, and that is here. I have something called Rebel Pack. And you can see here I have subcategories, but for now, if you can see it's down here along with the area map. Right now we don't address where this shader should be, so it always lies in the root here, but I'll show where to put the needed metadata to put it into a subfolder later on. So the thing we need to do is typically what I do is I go to the Autodesk OSL files and find a random UI file here. This is, in this case, it's the UI transform. It looks like this. I'm basically just going to delete all this, something like this, and we have this small group here. I'm going to call this my settings, and we need to save this one out in the same folder as the OSL file, which is here. Already have one. I call it test, something like this. Yes, I want to do that. And as you can see here, if we go into my settings, we see a couple of entries here. So what I can see is that there's actually some kind of debris in here I need to delete. So Control S, switch here and go back. We actually have one more, something like this. There. So now it's clean. We have my group box here called my settings, and we have the actual value down here. We need to move into my settings because this element here is not attached to the Qt stuff yet. It's just hanging outside. If you have a lot of stuff hanging beneath, it means it's not integrated into the Qt environment, but it will still show up, and we need to hide it down here. I'll show how to do that. So what do we need to do? We need to identify what this is. This is a float. It's a double spinner. So let me just quickly go here and throw in a double spinner. We can throw in a label here as well. So as you can see, everything is snapping. You can go in here and pick another, break the layout, and you can put things where you want. This is what I do. And you can control the horizontal policy, preferred, minimum, maximum, expanding, whichever you prefer. And something like the text here, you want to maybe align it to the right. Something like this, and I'm going to save this, switch over here so it updates, and you can now see under my settings we have a text label and we have a spinner here, but it's sort of broken. I can't spin it easily because it's not promoted to a spinner that is recognized by 3D Studio Max. We need to go here, right click it and promote to Qt double spin box. And if you want to sort of link in other items, you can do it by adding the name and a header file here. So what you want to do is open one of the generic shaders, that shader UIs that comes with the application and the core library of OSL. check out what the header file is and just copy it over if you need it, or just build on one of those, like I basically did here. So we now promoted this to a Qt spinner. Let's see here. Yeah, now it starts to work. It's very fast. It's clamped from 0 to 99, and you can see that's because minimum and maximum. So once we actually link the actual float A up to this one, it starts to get infinite in both directions. So let's see here. So we need to tell this guy here, this double spinner, this is not a double spinner, this is the object name. We need to call this A, because this is actually A. It's this one down here. So let's go here. As you can see here, it's now working. Increments. So that's good. Just for the sake of it, let's give this some metadata. I'm going to instruct this float that the minimum cannot go lower than 0, and the maximum cannot be higher than 5.5. This is just for illustrative purposes. So we're going to compile that, and let's see here. I reset it. I can't go lower and I can't go higher. So we now have a good synchronization here. But we still have this ugly thing down here. It's basically a copy. We need to hide that. So how do we do that? Well, we are going to add a string widget called null, and I also want to remove the actual input here. So you can't connect a map to it. It can be practical in some cases not, because if you don't do it and you have a very large UI, you will get tons of inputs, and some of the inputs are in some cases not really needed. This is an integer connectable equals 0. And as you can see, the thing went away here, and we now have a working spinner here. So let me go to max. Let me go here. Something like this, and 0, and it can all go to 5.5. So that's good, and that's it. That's how you do it. We can now build it, build a user interface up here. So let's see here, and that's basically it. So if you want to force this shader in, so this test shader here, let's see, scroll past it. If this test shader, we wanted to put it in a category called test inside this rebel pack here, we need to address that up in the beneath the name here. So this is a string category equals two of these guys, and that will be rebel pack and this guy here, and we're going to call this test shader, something like this. We need to remember to save it. I need to do like this, save it. I'm going to save this one, and we can force it to be moved up, so we need to restart max before the category assignment is integrated into the loader here. Now we could try and refresh this guy here. Not reset, not clear. So you kind of need to restart before this test gets up into a new category. So that's it. That's how you create a Qt interface for OSL shaders in 3D Studio Max.